Yeah, I remember I called and I talked to they send me to the fraud department. So now you'd think fraud department knows what they're talking about. All right, well, welcome back. Happy New Month, guys.
Happy new month, Chad. Happy new month, Dr. John.
Happy
Happy
new
New
month to
Month.
both of you, John and Chad.
A happy last Sunday. That was a new one. I had
I've
never
never heard
heard
that
before
before.
until this last scammer that you got. Like when everybody was confused in
I
the
figured it
chat
out
that were
pretty
like they
quick.
thought it was a threat. I didn't even think of it as a threat. Because I know
No,
of Happy New Month, which they didn't. Happy last Sunday is the last Sunday of the month, right?
that's how I took it.
So that's a new one. Happy last Sunday. I'm gonna have to remember that for future scammers.
They're mixing it
To
up.
Today we're going to talk about money mules. But before we get to that, John wanted to make sure we had an airing of grievances.
Yes, I was very irate today. Well, let me back up. So my TikTok account is frozen at the moment. I can't get in on it. Whatever. But I think this is tied to a hacker trying to get into my account because last month beginning of the month they got into my account through my email, one of my emails I used to log in. And stupid me, I didn't have the two-factor authentication on. By the way, everybody out there in podcast land, always put that on. Now I know for things that can be anyway. So I feel like I'm locked out because this is tied into a hacker that the same ones tried to get in, and that email is no longer valid. I don't know, however, TikTok detected it, and I've been shut out, and they're like not letting me. They're like, yeah, you can stay out too. Like they've just locked the account.
And you can
So
stay out.
yep, I'm being punished. But anyway, I just want to air my grievances on you hackers and you scammers. Make your own money. Find a way to make your own money without stealing other people's money. John is getting frustrated today, basically.
That's all we got. Do you have any grievances to air, Jersey John?
I am not prepared with grievances today, although I am I probably shouldn't air my grievances, so let me keep my mouth shut right now.
My only grievances is TikTok keeps deleting my comments that I saved to do reply videos, but that's minor. I have my account, so
Yes, you do. But yeah, that is annoying because I've saved so many account comments. Any given time, I have so many saved. Like if that went away, I'd be pretty.
and it's deleted them twice. And I don't know if it's like they're like this guy, all he's doing is saving nasty comments, and they're like, and they just clear him out, and then they're like, wait a minute, did this guy just save a bunch of nasty comments again? Like we're clearing him out again.
He is not learning his lesson.
He has not learned his lesson, and
How
I've
dare
not. So
how
they've cramped my style.
how dare you use the response feature on TikTok that they created?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they encourage that response
They have
feature.
encouraged it.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, since we haven't gotten into our topic yet, let's go ahead and let's start out with a would you rather, and then we'll get into some money mules. This is the would you rather that I saved from last time. Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or talk to animals?
My
I think.
answer,
Oh, go ahead, John.
no, I was just gonna say definitely talk to animals. I'm a little tired of talking to people, and I don't need to talk to more people in other languages. So animals I've never talked to, so I'm
My
going with
answer
that.
my answer on this has changed because when I first wrote this down, I was thinking the Dr. Doolittle and talking to animals. you'd come off a little crazy, but it would be entertaining and fun for you. And I do it all day long because I'm walking, delivering mail, and I'll talk to animals. I'll talk to dogs. I have actually. I've been caught talking to animals too, and then I like come to the next house and there's like somebody that I didn't notice is sitting on the porch, and then I like feel weird because I was just talking to this dog like as if it's a human at the previous house, and then like their house that is right there, and he clearly heard me. But I
Does he
digress.
notice
But
me?
I feel like at this point I would like to. There's, by the way, Omegle is not a thing anymore, but there's a guy
It's
that had
not?
it. No, it got shut down at some point.
Oh, yeah.
There's a guy that his TikTok channel was basically he was on Omegle and he spoke like fluently like 7 different languages, Chinese being one of the and Mandarin being one of the primary ones. And he would always like Omegle, he'd have some girl in China and they'd be like very timid and shy and whatever, and he'd pretend like, you know, he is just a normal American guy until he randomly slips in some Chinese and they're like, "Wait, whoa, what was that?" And then like I would always be entertained watching those kind of like interactions. But you know, thinking about it, like I like doing that with scammers, where I slip in some of their language at the end, and then for some reason they always think it's for them. It's more likely that I'm another scammer than that I am an American that knows a few phrases of their language. I find
Hmm.
it hilarious. Like I'm trying to prove that I'm actually American, and I'll send like a video, and they're like, "How did you do that AI video?" Like, no, it's actually me. And they're like, "Okay, but how are you doing?" And like, no, no. Like it's more convincing. Anyway, somehow it's more believable that I am doing like superior AI technology than that I know a few
Yeah.
phrases of their language. So it would be cool if I could like. Uh, so I would switch to that probably.
You go with the languages.
Yeah, I think yeah.
But the poor animals along your route that you could be talking to,
Yeah,
they're in
that's
your
Well, you
head.
can still talk to them. They just can't talk to you back.
right. And
That's
John?
true.
So I love animals, and I think that would be absolutely endearing to speak to animals, or again let them speak to us. But I think it would get old fast. I think the languages are more practical to understand and to speak languages,
But think if you
especially
could
where I am in the country. There are
if
many
you could
many
communicate
languages.
to those animals and get them to like work together as a team, like squirrels. Like all of a sudden you've got like the squirrel army doing your bidding.
Or like
Snow
Aquaman.
White. Snow White cleaning your house, doing your chores. I might be back to the animal. No, I'm just kidding. Um, but we should get to money mules though.
What
All the
are money
time,
mules?
one of the things that I'm asked all the time is when I have a Cash App, why do they need receipt? Why do they need me to snap that I've sent money on and I haven't sent money on Cash App, by the way, for anybody out there. But why would they be asking for proof that I've sent money on Cash App? And it's because of money mules. Basically, there's somebody out there that is in America that they're funneling money through, that is laundering the money for them because they can't set up an account in their country. So they have to have, and there are 3 different types of people that are doing this laundering. Ones that are completely unknowing. They don't know they're being scammed. They're unknowing. They think they're just doing a favor for a friend, or they're doing a favor for somebody they love, or transferring money over, and they're just kind of oblivious. There's then the ones that are in on it, that are complicit, is the other ones that know what they're doing. They've been recruited,
Hmm.
and I've been recruited because when I start talking to them, they realize, oh, this guy's messing with me. I've been offered that. Do you want to make some money? Because then you get a cut of that money that you're laundering. And the third one I didn't, until I started looking into this, I didn't even think about, but this makes sense too, is somebody that's witting, where maybe they started out as unknowing, they didn't know, but they start seeing red flags and they just kind of ignore them. Um, and they're getting a cut, so they just don't ask questions. Like, this seems a little sketchy, but I'm gonna just keep doing it, because it's not just laundering for people like that. There's also, and I have one that I'll probably do a video on at some point. You'll find jobs or fake jobs out there that they set up for this kind of thing too, either cryptocurrency or whatever. But they'll be on like the job website. I haven't been looking for a job in a long time. What are those called?
Indeed or LinkedIn.
Indeed,
or...
yeah, Indeed. That's what I was thinking of. Like, you go on, like, there'll be a job listing on there, and essentially that's what you're sitting at home on your computer, and you're setting up a bank account and you're sending money over.
So back up to the beginning. I'm utterly fascinated by the ones that don't know. How does that describe how that looks?
So I can talk to this one a little bit. So I met a woman named Gina who, backtrack. I was speaking to a scammer that was pretending to be a woman, and when I told him that I was going to send money to her, he gave me an address and a name of a person in Wichita, Kansas, and I immediately Googled and searched every site, and I found her on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on a few different things, and I reached out to her, and she responded. So I developed a friendship with her. So she was in a romantic relationship with this Nigerian scammer who, he confessed to her that he was in Nigeria, and she was head over heels in love with him. He told her that he does not have, because he's in Nigeria, he cannot conduct business, and he has many American clients that would love to invest in Bitcoin, but because he's in Nigeria, he can't do it. So he told her, they're going to send you the check and you're going to invest it for me. So she'd get a check mailed from another victim of a scam. She would take that check, deposit it into her bank account, and then she would then take money out of her account and invest it in Bitcoin. Meanwhile, it was the guy in Nigeria's Bitcoin account. It wasn't being invested for anyone. He was just taking that money. And then he told her she can keep, if it was $1,000, she can keep 100 for herself.
Oh, wow.
But he was such a sweet talker that he would end up conning her out of that money as well. He would say, hey, baby, listen, I don't have any money this week. My data's low. That $100, can you send that to me? I really need it. Send it in a gift card or whatever. So she wasn't making anything. She was just in love with him. And, I helped her realize that, no, this is a scam. No one's investing in Bitcoin. They're making this man money. And you're helping. And you can go to jail.
So you talked to her. She told
Yes.
you, but you're saying at the end you kind of convinced her to stop, like.
Oh yes, yeah. I still speak to her every once in a while. This was 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I reach out to her just to see how she's doing, because she's a little slow mentally. She's an older woman and she has a lot of health issues, but she's very gullible. I mean, I probably could have scammed her if I wanted to, and I would never do that. But
it's incredible.
I can get these Nigerians to stop scamming you. If only you just pay me
Yeah.
$20 a month, and I will make sure you are nice and secure.
You jump in on it, yeah.
It would be so easy for us to scam people. We could, with knowing what we know.
yeah,
True. Yeah.
It's sad how easy it is to scam some of these people.
that series on my TikTok it's called Gina from Wichita. If anyone would like to see that series,
That
it's
rings the
very
bell.
interesting.
I remember you doing an offshoot from what you normally do like that.
it was a while ago.
Yeah, that rings a bell. I gotta see that.
I have looked up and tried to reach out, because I've had that happen as well, and I'll go onto Facebook, I'll find the woman on Facebook. I've had limited success with them responding. The one time when I had one respond to me, I don't even remember the series. It was on TikTok because I posted them, and it seemed I felt like the scammer had a hold of the Facebook account, and I was talking to the scammer on the Facebook account as well. So that wasn't really getting me anywhere with that one, and I was frustrated back then. Now I have a better way of doing this, but when I would get these bank accounts, I would always be like, I'd call the bank, and it was awkward conversations, or the bank wouldn't know what I was talking about, or wouldn't know what to do with the
Yeah.
information that I was talking about. And I was like, why am I having these awkward phone calls? There's got to be an
Yeah.
easier way to report these fraudulent bank accounts that are scamming
Hmm.
people of money. And I've found um, a better way to do that. But I
Uh,
digress.
what's your better way? Yeah, I remember you telling me about that a couple months ago, that awkwardness, and that is mind blowing too. Like, why is it so cumbersome?
Yeah, I remember I called and I talked to they send me to the fraud department. So now you'd think fraud department knows what they're talking about. I talked to this girl that sounded like mind blown at all that I was saying. Like everything I said was like, "What, they really do that?" Like
What?
you're in the fraud department. Like I'm
What? Yes.
explaining how this works to you. What I was yeah, it was
That's so. Oh man.
so yeah, some of the ones that the money mules will look for is Cash App, obviously, sometimes when I get a Cash App name, I will type it into the search. I'll always type it into the search bar, but sometimes I will see 10, 20 names that are identical, but like a number off at the end. So they're like somebody's setting up like these accounts that are very similar. Um, so Cash App, I've had bank accounts, and that's probably a big one too, helping them set up bank accounts where if they're wiring or transferring, larger amounts of money. Um, Zelle, which would also be through a bank account. I've had Zelle very limitedly, but I have had that one. PayPal's another one. Um, but the thing, there's always that's the other thing too. The red flag is there's always a delay, because like if somebody's asking me for Cash App or somebody's asking me for my PayPal, I can instantaneously give you that information. They're like, hold on. Like, where
Yeah.
did you just go? I'll get
Yeah.
it for you, just a second. And then they disappear.
When you meet on a dating app where everyone is meaningfully verified, there's not much else to worry about. All verified blind dating from Dating Square. Date smarter.
They gotta look for it in their files.
And then they'll come up with a Cash App, and they're like, you need to do it within the next however many minutes. Like, wait a minute. And then if they all of a sudden they have another and then it's got somebody else's name, and I'll question them on that, and then it's like,
Yeah.
hold on, and then like, what, this is a guy's name I'm sending to a guy, but I thought you were single. And then they come up, a little bit later, they come up with another Cash App. Well, hey, this is my neighbor's, or this is my sister's, or whatever they've got going on. They're able to come up with Cash Apps because they've got the contacts within their group of these
Hmm.
different money mules that they're using, and different accounts they're using. And they want to make sure, again, some of this is just conjecture on my part, but they want to make sure the person that I'm going to send the money to is online or active or present. So I'm assuming they're reaching out to be like, hey, can we have this money, so that the money can be
They
like
know it's
handled,
coming.
and they know it's coming and handled, and not like I'm sending it to account and now they can't get a hold of that person.
Right.
You know what I
Yes.
mean?
It's a very quick turnaround, and
They,
and
yeah,
and
they
that's
don't
why
want
they
it sitting.
yeah, they don't want to sit there and have the person not send it. I love when they say, "Tell me when you're ready for me to send it." Well, just send it. If you have the account, just send it. Shall I send it now? Yeah, send it. What are you waiting for?
Right. That's an unnecessary step to ask.
Right.
If, like,
But they want you to do it right away so that they can get it out of there right away.
Yeah, it's like my daughter who this is a common question. Dad, can you send me some money for Chipotle? And I'll be like, yes, and just Venmo it to me, and then that's like me saying, well, are you ready now? Can I do it?
Right, just do it, and she'll get it.
All right, let's have commercial break time. Da 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 da. Last time when we like there were multiple times where we could have done it, and we did one of these like, oh, right here we could be a break. They left it in there, so don't leave this in here of us telling us to have a break.
Omit.
There is a commercial break time.
Like
And
Kramer
we're back.
Having the snacks.
Yeah.
The Merv Griffin.
That is my
On the
favorite
set of the Merv
episode. That will always be my favorite
I love that.
episode. The Merv Griffin episode, or when the one where he's got crackers. He's got his suitcase, his briefcase for the job he had, and he's got crackers in there too.
The job that he does. I don't really work here. He went to use their bathroom.
Yeah. Well, that's what makes it so difficult.
It's like you have no business training at all.
Yeah.
All right, and we're back from our commercial break. The other thing that I wanted to mention as we kind of shift here a little bit, usually they're going to go to gift cards. Again, if there's Cash App and there's that stuff, but gift cards, and I get asked a lot, and I'm sure you get those, John, a lot too. Why do they want gift cards? What can they possibly be doing with an Apple gift card? And for me, it's common sense. And I don't understand why I get that question so much. But I'm like, they sell them. I did find out, as I've talked to some people, there's a group in China. They're actually selling them to a group in China, these gift cards online. If they have the receipt, I'm sure somebody did verify this for me too. They can get more money with the receipt because they're not getting full amount for these gift cards. If they have the receipt, maybe they can. I don't know how that whole thing works.
Here's what blows me away about that receipt. I can have a gift card for $100 with a receipt and still use some of it and then give it to them. It's the receipt does nothing.
Right. Well, and the one time I did that, I don't know if you remember. I don't remember which series that was in either, but I bought something, Amazon. I cleared the card like the same day, and I had the receipt with it, and they thanked me for it, and they just like everything was fine. And then I was freaked out. I'm like, okay, did they sell it even though it's empty because they had the receipt? And are they still running the scam? Did they still make money off of that? Did I help them make money and scam somebody else off of that? So I was like, I can't do that one again. Because that was never really mentioned or brought up again. Like a lot of times they'll be like, hey, this is empty, and they'll show me that never happened with that one. So
hey, listen, from a retail world, someone can have an Apple gift card with a receipt and bring it to me, and I'm like, there's no money on this card. Well, here's the receipt. Well, there's no money on the card, so receipt is nothing when it comes to those cards. So I still don't understand why they get more money with it. So, but
yeah.
Oh, I just want to say this. Well, we're talking about PayPal and Cash App. I don't know if it's common knowledge. There is no Cash App in Nigeria or PayPal. They don't have that. They have a whole nother system. So that's why they have to have an American with PayPal or Cash App. It's not in every country.
They do have Bitcoin.
That makes sense.
They do have Bitcoin, right? So they make use of it.
Universal.
I just want to throw that in there.
The other thing with gift cards too is they're untraceable. Like there's no digital trail if you send a picture of a gift card to them. I mean, other than your picture to, I guess that's your digital trail, but there's not, like, it's untraceable. Like you just gave them money basically.
Right. It's untraceable
I guess in all
to
of these
them.
you are. Yeah.
they can trace the person who bought it.
Yeah.
So it's, on their end, though, there's no danger. If you're the one who's buying gift cards for scammers, it can absolutely be traced to you. Unless you're just paying cash for them every time. But they can still pinpoint where it was purchased, what register, what time, and they can pull up video surveillance and hand that over to the authorities. So if you're someone that's buying gift cards to scammers, even though you're a victim, they can find you. So
I don't want them to find me, though. So that's the deal with money mules, guys. One last thing I guess we can finish with here, because this one came up relatively recently. This summer, I had a scammer that was using the name Beatrice Bill, and the question started coming up and it comes up a lot of times. Where do they come up with these names? And this is all mostly conjecture and mostly just from us doing it for so long and assuming where they're coming up with some of these names. But here, I'm assuming, for starters, that when they get a profile of a person, that there's a name on there. Now, there may be differences and variations, and as it branches off and they share it, things change with that, and they update it and change with some of those. But you sometimes see the same picture with the same name from people, and sometimes they're using the porn star's actual name as well. Sometimes they're using her actual name. Sometimes they've changed the surname with it. But in Nigeria, they put the last name first. And a lot of times we will see, like in Beatrice Bill, you'll see a male and a female name. And I don't know if they're using that ever as a male with women. But for me, in America, you can have like the last name James, and it's a normal, you know what I mean? Like a normal last name. So it's not that, wouldn't that be unusual to have like a Sally James or something like that? So I don't know necessarily, but I have seen profiles change. You know, like you have a profile on the page and you'll see it with one name, and then all of a sudden it changes gender and the name changes, or half of it changes. So you'll see some of those things change as well. So I'm assuming it's part of that process. Sometimes they'll learn last names and they'll take them on. Like all of a sudden a girl is taken on my last name.
Yeah.
And they may keep that and move on and keep that name. So some of it just kind of grows in that way. But some of the funny ones that I wrote down here as I was looking through, I had Beatrice Bill, Eddie Rose. I called her Eddie. I mean, girls can have the name Eddie. That's totally fine. Bella Jason was one of the minor ones I had. I found that one. Jenny Ballot was one of the unique ones in that I am betting Ballot came from someplace else, because she changed her name to Jenny Huber. And she probably moved on with that at some point. I think at one point she changed the name to some other last name, and then they pass you to. Now I'm on a little bit of a tangent, but they'll pass you to another chat app, and they'll have a different name on there. For example, Jess, who I'm talking to, she talks to me. She gave me her I think it's, I don't know if it's her WhatsApp or Signal or whatever. Her name is Mia on there. I think it's the same person I'm talking to in both, but maybe it's, I mean, sometimes they do pass you off as well. I don't know if you have any thoughts or other weird names that you may have had on there, John.
So the one I'm talking to now, her name is India. I met her on Words with Friends. Her name was Old T. And her Google chat, her name is JD Austin. So all over the board with that one.
Yeah, all over the place.
I created an app. I'm going to have it in a video soon. Not really an app, but it's called the Scamtron 3000, and it's how scammers choose their name and their picture. And it's just like pressure luck.
Nice.
The girls are
Yeah.
and then the names and
Mix and
This is
match.
something that, again, I would think if they can scam people with the mess they got going on with names. I
Yeah.
mean, if they found somebody that they used regularly with Cash App, and I discovered this because I pressed one and then on the name, and she changed the name on the Cash App. So you can change the name on the Cash App as well. But if you get somebody who has a Cash App that matches in name to the name you're using, and you have the same name on the other, like, I get that you're scamming more than one person at a time, and you probably have more than one person dealing. But if you could match all of that up, how much would that actually help you? But it doesn't even seem to matter because they're scamming people either way.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
Yeah, it doesn't. You're right. So many people miss red flags, obvious flags.
we say it every time. Loneliness is a weapon, and
Yeah. Strong.
it's very strong. People want that connection, and that they think they have it with a real person. I mean, it is a real person, but they
Yeah.
think they have it with who they're talking to, and
Yeah.
they look right past all those red flags.
It's that character they see that they fall in love with.
Bot, it's a bot.
Yeah. AI. All the AI comments you've been getting.
Yeah, some of the bot ones though, I wonder, like, if they're using it in a modern type of bot term and not like it's an actual. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right, like it's not
I
a
don't-
computer. It's just
Right. It's just a person that's messing, like, I don't know. These Gen Z slang. But yeah, AI, they're saying AI sometimes too. I'm like, no, that's
I know.
not, it is not accurate. All right. Well, this was a good talk. Good talk.
It was a great talk.
always great
Love-
chatting with you, gentlemen.
Very informative on the mule topic.
So if you are out there in the land of podcasts, don't open any accounts for people you don't know, or accept money from people you don't know and take a cut of it. That
Or-
is all
Or
very
strange
suspicious.
names. Strange
illegal.
names you don't know.
Yes, and if a lovely young lady is saying that she needs money to move to be near you and you've never met her, talk to her on voice chat, just know she doesn't exist. She's not real. I talk to those people way too often, and you probably do as well, John.
I do.
And some people that don't even listen to you and still persist in their, and then get mad at you for thinking you're in on it altogether, fooling that one person. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't
Don't
believe you're
be
in on
fooled.
this. You're in on this. Well, they think the models are in on it. Some of these people.
Our,
And that's
our
what's crazy to me.
friend,
Yeah,
our friend Bulma.
he's not the only one, because
No. There's plenty.
honestly, I see it in the comment section all the time where somebody will say a comment, and the way they word the comment, I'm like turning my head like, at least they know it's a scam. At least they know it's a scam. I usually will go in there. It's a man in another country. But anyway, I digress. It was wonderful talking to you, gentlemen. Happy New Month once more. And
Happy New Month.
Happy New Month.
outro music. Da, 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 da. The end of the pod. There should be a song. It's the end of the podcast.
Five minutes later.
If you are contacted by a scammer like this, just block. Don't engage.
trust me, it's not worth it. If you want to learn more about how to protect yourself from scammers like this, check out the nonprofit Defend's website at helpusdefend.com.